So for this opener, I gotta tell you this interaction that happened the other day, this week, which is the silliest thing. Met with my father this morning, and he asked, when am I gonna get a girlfriend? I'm like, oh, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I go to work, and I have breakfast with some coworkers, and coworker asks, so when are you gonna get a girl? I'm working on it, jeez. I'm working on it, damn. I have lunch with my boss. And my boss also asks, so when are you going to get a girl? Welcome back, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for the vlog. So, let's see here. I believe, yes, the newest Kirby episode for the podcast should be out soon enough. This one is episode 20, and it's on another sad episode for Kirby. Holy crap, Kirby goes through a lot of sad things. This guy has multiple friends die in front of him. In front of him. They die. They die. And maybe the first two, maybe the first two times Kirby doesn't fully grasp. Okay, the first time someone dies in front of Kirby, he gets some idea that they're never coming back. The second time it happens, he definitely knows he should be worried. The third time it happens, Kirby starts crying, because Kirby actually understands what death means at this point. Kirby goes through a lot of traumatic trauma in the anime, and it's a kid show. It is straight up a kid show. I've seen a lot of kid shows in US and in anime and everything, and it's like, this is the one that has the darkest stuff, like, as an actual kid show. Like, there's plenty of anime and cartoons where it seems like it's kid fare, but it's more adult fare. And this isn't that. This is very much a kid fare show that just has these darker, sadder episodes. And holy crap. It's holy crap, that's all I got. Because it's next level in how sad it is. It really is. Luckily, there won't be another sad one until episode 30. But Kirby goes through a lot, and then I got to work on Kirby's Pinball Land for that podcast episode as well, because I'm gonna be gone for a whole week soon, so I gotta take care of that. As channel things. Let's see here. So here's the plan. I think I've said this before, but here's the plan at the moment. I think I talked to this last week, didn't I? But the hope is that by November we're opened up for everything, so that we can do Pokemon and Doom Eternal, and who knows what else. That's the plan there. Oh, right, Chrono Trigger. So the plan for that one is, I think we will do a stream where I'm just going to do the voices, and we'll see what the audience likes, and we'll go with that. So it's kind of additions, but not really. We'll see. It should be interesting for sure. But that's not for another, month. After Comic-Con, we'll figure out Chrono Trigger for sure. Oh, right. Oh, snap. Right, okay, so Mario Maker is coming out next week. Gonna buy that. We're gonna do a bunch of episodes on that, just on the earlier stuff. So playing all the developer-made levels and things like that, that's going to be the first 2 weeks. And then I'm going to be gone, and then I'll be back, then I'll do more Mario Maker, and then Comic-Con happens, and then after that will be 3 houses. So we'll be doing Mario Maker for a month, and then we'll do 3 houses after that. And we're doing a 3 houses giveaway. So I need to make sure I make that giveaway before this episode comes out, so that link can be in the description. And that's just going to be the usual gleam. So it's going to be just follows and retweets and subs and all that stuff to get entries into it, and then somebody wins it. That's going to happen. Other giveaways, maybe I'll do a Doom Eternal giveaway besides Pokemon Sword and Shield. That's 3 games in 1 month. Maybe not. But I will debate it, because I am hyped about Doom, because I actually like Doom. Doom's really good. I think if you ask me what's the best shooter, of all time, it's probably Doom for me. I really like Doom a lot. Second place, maybe Halo, because Halo's Halo. Let's think about it. It's definitely number 1 is Doom. Doom has been a great source of fun for years of my life, for sure. Number 2, Wolfenstein's great. I say Halo because I know Halo's a solid shooter, but maybe Wolfenstein, but honestly, probably GoldenEye. GoldenEye is an interesting one. Just the newer generations don't understand how great GoldenEye was. It's a thing that happens with any age where you're like, these new generations just don't understand how awesome something was, and they never will because it's just not something that it's just too old for them. And GoldenEye is definitely that. Hell, that can be the topic right now. Let's talk about age. So, there are things in my life where I feel like I was born the wrong time. When it comes to, I think when it comes to love life, I definitely feel like I wish I was born 10 years later, because long distance relationships are just way more accepted now than they were back then, for sure. And it just seems like it's easier to meet people online in this day and age as a teenager and young adult than it was back then. It really was, like. But then again, there were a lot less bots back in the day, that's for damn sure. Now there's so many bots, holy crap. So I don't know. Catfishing is so much bigger of a thing now than it was back then. Catfishing was still a thing back then, but it's way bigger of a thing now. Like, I think only relationship stuff is the stuff that I actually think about as far as I wish I was born a decade later, because I feel like people are just more open and just more okay with things in the later generations than there are in mine and older generations, for sure. And so, yeah, I just feel like relationship-wise, probably been better to be born 10 years later. But I really love a lot of things about being born in the age I was born in because of the things that just came up. Like, those of my age, and Scarf was born in the 80s, so Scarf is old, and though Scarf looks young to a lot of people, I still get asked what college I go to. I still get asked just things that should be asked of a person in their 20s. So Asian genes do their work. That's really it. But Scarf is 32. That's how old Scarf is. Being 32, I was born in just the age of, well, DNA being mapped. I was born before the internet was a thing. Like, right before it was a thing. Right before computers were a thing. For everyone. I was born, so I was able to know what was life like before computers, before mobile phones, before just everything that is mainstream now. Just knowing what it was before that point, so I can appreciate existence before that. It's a very interesting time to be alive, to be born into. Just all these things. We're born, like, another way to put it is, because Jinx is actually just 2 weeks older than me, me and Jinx were born into a world that could have been very different considering Chernobyl. Chernobyl happened in the same year we were born. And I watched the miniseries, and if that thing went further south than it did, if that thing really went really bad, we could have been born into a nuclear age, a different kind of nuclear age, and that would have been kind of interesting and nuts how that would have worked out. And so, like, I got to see the entire rise of Nintendo for the most part. Get to see the rise of Xbox from the beginning, of Square Enix from the beginning, when Square and Enix were two different things, by the way. When Sony's rise, like, all the rises of all the consoles, the rise of gaming in general, I was there for all of it. I was there for just phones. There from the start. Well, I get to see the entire age of it. That is pretty damn interesting and fascinating. The age of VR, the age of so many things, we got to see the beginning of it. And I'm sure we won't live long enough to see the end of them, because I'm sure a lot of these things are going to be going for a long ass time. But just knowing what things were before they were other things, like the internet before Google, back when it was Yahoo and Lycos and Alta Vista, all those things. Try not to sound too old, but just back when it was, Google wasn't the go-to search engine. Back when it was all these other search engines fighting each other for supremacy, and then Google shows up, and Google just takes it all. Facebook was invented when I was in college. I'm one of the, just, how to put it, like, one of just, like, the first couple thousand users of Facebook. That's what I am. I haven't used Facebook in like 10 years, but I was one of the first ones. That's a crazy thing. Back when Facebook was only for college students. That's what it used to be. Only for college students. And then it blew up to what it is. And I just don't have that account anymore because I just never used it. After I left college, I just stopped using it. And at that point, it became a thing for everyone. And I just stopped using it. I moved on to, well, like Twitter. That's what I moved on to. I moved on to Twitter. Oh God, LiveJournal was a thing. Oh god, you can do so many things on just old things. LiveJournal is essentially just what, like, it was just blogs. Like, it's what it is now. Like, LiveJournals where people just put their thoughts and their moods, and it was just an entry of the day or multiple entries. Like, this is like what people do with Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. Like, just, here's what's going on with me. And that was it. That was what LiveJournals were. Freaking trip. Oh god, MySpace. MySpace. I never touched MySpace. Back when, oh my god, back in the day, like IRC and all these different chats where people would just, a bunch of random people just get into a chat together and just talk. That was it. They would just talk, and then some people might get interested in each other and then they'll whisper. That was a thing that happened, or they make another chat thing. Oh god, AOL. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I gotta tell this. So, there was one computer at my grandma's place. And my aunt was the main user of it. So the way it worked was, it was two generations in that house. My grandmother, grandfather, and then my aunt, who was a nurse, and her husband, a Marine. He was a, what's it called? A drill major. Or drill sergeant. Whichever one. People tell me it's one or the other, and I always forget to ask him because he told me once, and you don't ask him the same thing twice. He was the drill instructor. There he was, the drill instructor guy. And then they had like 3 kids. And the idea was, well, they live together so that they can take care of the grandparents, and also just a lot of kids in this house and everything, just everything taken care of. And they had a computer. And my aunt was the main user of that computer. There were only 2 people who knew how computers worked at that point. My aunt and me. That was it. My aunt used it for AOL. I used it for, this is when I visited. I used it for emulators to play just games. And that's another thing. The age of emulators was such a thing, a different thing then than it is now. But I gotta tell this because, so my aunt used it and she chatted a lot on it. And if you know that sound, the ringtone and all that stuff with AOL. And you had to get onto AOL to use the internet and all that stuff. And the thing was, my aunt didn't hide anything or didn't know how to hide her things. So my introduction to the dick pic was my aunt's AOL chat history. I'm looking for things in folders. And she just has things everywhere in this thing, and I'm just being introduced to way too many dick pics. What age was I? Let me think about this. 11 or 12. 11 or 12. 11 or 12 is when I saw a bunch of dick pics, and they were all from my aunt. And I did not tell my uncle. Because I'm like, well, this is a whole weird thing. Because there's a lot of levels going on here. One is, great, I found my aunt's stash. Which isn't a stash because she just didn't know how to save them anywhere. They're just everywhere in this computer. I don't know what's going on with that. But they're everywhere. Like, she just randomly saved it to places. She didn't know what she was doing. That was disturbing. Because dicks aren't my thing at all. So, like, there's only one dick I want to see, and that's mine. That's all I want to see. That's the only one. And so, context online. So just saying all that, like, I'm not going to tell my aunt I've seen that, because that's just an embarrassing thing for everyone involved. Not going to tell my uncle, because that's still an embarrassing thing for everyone involved. But that's what my aunt used it for. My aunt used it for chatting with dudes and flirting and all this stuff, and she got dick pics. Dick pics were a thing before this was a thing, people. Oh my god. Oh my god. What I did with chat rooms back then was I used it for just RPing. I did like role-playing back in the day. Like, there was a chat room called the Green Dragon Inn, if I remember that was the correct name of it. And everyone just played different characters, and they were interacting at a bar. That's all it was. And I don't even remember what the hell I was anymore. I remember I had like 2 things. It was like this one thing, and then there was Greven Ilvek. Greven Ilvek is from Magic the Gathering. And I didn't fully understand the rules of RP, where you can't just say you dodge, and you can't just say all these different things. You have to use stars and all these things. And it was an interesting time just RPing with people and all this stuff. Eventually I found like a Dragon Ball chat, and was RPing with that. And that was all very interesting. And by the way, oh my god, thank God for video games now. Because you could have Dragon Ball fights, and the way it worked is just typing faster than the other guy. That was it. You just had to type that you got your punch in first. You had to type that you're punching in the air and you're doing all the after image attacks and all that stuff. You had to type that all up before they could interrupt. and then they overtake you and all that stuff. It was really silly. It was really dumb. It was very dumb, extremely dumb. There were Gundam chat battles as well, where you were launching these weapons, and you had to do like 3, 2, 1. You had to do timing for the shots, and there was dodging, and there were rules in there, so you had to have a third person say, like, no, you couldn't have dodged that early, or these different things, and it was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous time. This is the time of forums, when forums actually were good places of conversation. Oh my god. And everyone had a website because, well, you didn't have these big websites that had a bunch of people going to it. And, oh my god, the pornography. Jesus Christ, so much of it. And, oh my god, the amount of just porn and the amount of prank porn, like viruses and Goatse. Oh god, do not look up Goatse. I remember my introduction to that. Oh my god. Okay, so I had a much slower computer, and a friend gave me a link, and the way it works is it would just put up like 100 images of Goatse. It's a very awful thing. And so just 100 images of that. Alright? My computer was so slow that they just you get all that, but there's no image. There's just nothing there, and I see that it says Goatse, so I just closed them all up. So I was good. I knew what it was. I didn't need to see it. Eventually I saw it, and it's not the greatest thing. There's also the time of the put your headphones up really loud so you can hear the message that's coming, and then you get the scream scare. And the funny thing was, just because of how it was back then, you watching and listening, I got the scream way early, killing my ears, and then the image pops up like 10 seconds later, so it's not as scary because you already got this, and then that shows. I was like, silly time, oh my god. It was a silly age. Oh my god, before things are what they are now. It was an amazingly silly age. Oh yeah, Newgrounds was back when Newgrounds first showed up, back when Neopets was a thing, back when Homestar Runner, back when all these things that are just so archaic and old to kids these days, like, what the hell is this kind of thing? I remember Homestar Runner and Strong Bad Emails. I remember Strong Bad Emails being so amazing to me because these guys were doing things with Flash that no one else was doing. They just did really cool stuff with it, and there all had all these Easter eggs, just clicking around to get them. There was just so much cool stuff going on with Homestar Runner. And then just when the age changed, when it went from websites just having so much power to becoming just, well, everyone consumed things differently, and Homestar Runner just, like YouTube basically happened. YouTube basically changed how everyone did their consumption. And websites that were just dedicated websites just kind of fell to the wayside, unfortunately. Everyone had to be on YouTube. Like, people didn't just go to websites anymore. They went to YouTube for entertainment. That was a big thing. And god, back when Amazon wasn't the big one, back when it was like eBay was the big one, and then Amazon shows up, and then all these other, like, it's an interesting age, just seeing things come up. Really. Just such an interesting age to be in. And I'm fine being in that age. Like, I am fine being where I am. My entire life has been video games. This guy shows up when I'm like 5. On my 5th birthday, I get a Game Boy, and I get Kirby's Dream Land. That's awesome. My love of this character started at the age of 5. Came up right a little bit after I was born. It's the funniest thing, by the way. See here, I played Doom as early as 6 years old, I believe. When did Doom 2 come out? I might be a little off. Might be 8 years old. Let's see here. Doom 2. When did that come out? When did that come? Also download. 1994. 8 years old. 8 years old. I played Doom 2 when I was 8 years old. And Doom 2 was my first FPS. Maybe. Wolfenstein. No, I played Doom 2 first, then I played Wolfenstein. Doom 2 was my first FPS, then I played Wolfenstein the original. And then I played Doom 1 at some point. Back in the day. Oh my god. So, first platformer, Mario. I had the original Mario. First shooting game, Duck Hunt. First FPS, Doom 2. First RPG, The original Final Fantasy. Holy crap. Uh, First racing game, Excite Bike, if you count that as a racing game. If not, maybe Mario Kart? Or that 3D car game? No, it wasn't those. It was the one with the red car. The one that's a really old arcade machine that just went to crap. I'm happy with the age I lived in because of, well, I guess gaming, but also because of, oh my god, college debt. The college debt I'd have now would be 3 times what I have, right? If I was born later. College debt is so much worse now compared to what it was when I went to college. Holy crap. Education, I feel, yeah, definitely. Knowing how education is now with all the tests and everything, is more time focused on tests than actually learning. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with the age I was in for that one for sure. Political age? Oh, God, being a kid under Trump and all that? Oof. President being like Obama, then into Trump, and I don't know about that. I was under, like, I think Clinton's the first president I remember having any cognizance of. Oh, God, witnessing 9/11. Oh, God. That's an interesting thing. Anyone who's like 18 and younger, they're born into the age post 9/11. Knowing how the world was before 9/11 is an interesting thing as well. It really felt like we lost a lot of trust after 9/11. It really does. Like, we lost something in 9/11. Even with the whole how we feel like we've come back stronger and everything, I feel like we lost a lot. I think 9/11 was the loss of innocence for America. It really was. You could say Columbine was a loss of innocence, but I think no. I think that was definitely one. But 9/11 was just so much bigger. It was such a bigger loss of innocence, I think, to the country. 9/11 is the one that made us become what we are now, so hypersensitive, so aggressive. It really was 9/11 that did that. We lost our innocence and we became a very fearful people, a very aggressively fearful people. Very unfortunate. And there's just people who don't know that side of America before it. Like, I'm thankful I wasn't born, like, earlier, like, the age of, like, when civil rights were a lot worse. Like, I'm glad I wasn't born back then, because I'm not white in any way. I'm white in that I have European blood. That's it. I don't, and that, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I'm white in that I have European blood. That's it. That's it. That's all I got. So, being born that age wouldn't be so great. Wouldn't be so great at all. Oh my god, back when stealing was just stealing cable. Piracy was just stealing cable. My family stole cable. Well, we had cable, but then we stole like the other channels, and that's how I got introduced. Oh my god, to the Spice Channel. Not a lot. I don't know if a single person watching this even knows what it is, because most of y'all are younger than me. There's maybe one person who might be older than me, besides Jinx. Oh my god. I wouldn't say rose-colored glasses for the past. It's just remembering all the craziness and all the fun parts. Not remembering the bad parts, because there's always going to be bad parts. I'm not remembering that right now. I'm just remembering the fun. I'm remembering GoldenEye back in the day, how fun that was. Smash Brothers, how fun that was. I'm remembering, oh god, Battletoads. I remember back arcades. That's a big one. Why I'm glad I'm in the age I'm in, because I was in the golden age of arcades. Arcades were everywhere. There were a lot of really good games in there, really good machines. They weren't trying to not nickel and dime you, but they weren't trying to screw you over. The games felt fair. You felt like with enough skill, you get really far. Arcades are why I'm so good at games, why I'm able to see the angles. Because when I was a kid, I was given $1. 4 quarters. That means you only got to play 4 games. I'm talking like 4 or 5 hours of my day at an arcade, because my dad was a bowler, so he's bowling half the day, and I'm just stuck at this arcade with 4 shots. I'm either watching someone play, or I'm trying my best not to fail. And that is why, at multiple times in my younger life, I was able to beat Metal Slug 1, 2, and X without dying once. Because you needed to get that good so that you spent a lot of time playing instead of a lot of time not doing anything. So I got really good at Street Fighter. That's why I got really good at freaking House of the Dead. Same thing with House of the Dead 1. My favorite arcade shooter of all time is House of the Dead 1. If I could ever find a machine of that and buy it and just own that and play that, oh my god, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be my biggest gift to myself, is that, besides something Kirby related, is finding our House of the Dead, which is probably $1,000 because it's vintage at this point, finding that old machine and playing it again. Because that was a game where I memorized where everything was. I knew the inside and out of that game. I knew where everything was. I could beat that without getting hit once. And that is something. Because you actually needed to be able to beat that thing without losing, like without needing to get a continue once if you wanted to get some special things in that game. And if you got to the point that confirms that you've pulled off this feat, it was a nice feeling of accomplishment. It's near the end of the game, the Golden Room, if you know what that is. And I love House of the Dead Original. It was just a really good game. I like what was going on with that. The music, the gameplay, the graphics, of course, are what they are at the time, but just, it was such a good game. Every House of the Dead after has been okay. 2 was okay, 3 was okay, 4 was okay, 5 was okay. It's all about number 1. It really was all about number 1. Unfortunately, number 2 is the one that got put on consoles all over the place, and 3 for some, but 1's the best one. Just can't find it anywhere. House of the Dead was so big, you may have heard of this one, is Mavis Bacon's Typing of the Dead. That's how good House of the Dead was in that age. It was so popular that there was a typing game for it, because Mavis Bacon, oh my god, there were typing programs to learn how to type, because this is the age when just not everyone knew how to type yet. And that was a class in school, learning how to type on a computer. And Mavis Bacon was the program for that, where they had like typing games and just typing learning things. And they had a crossover with House of the Dead, where you're typing to beat monsters. Not monsters, zombies. You gotta type fast to beat the zombies. You gotta type fast to deal with the bosses. That was a pretty interesting age. Back when piracy was burning to a disc. Back when piracy was burning to a CD or a DVD disc. Back when the drives had those things. I took out the CD drive to this compy. I took that out because I don't need it. Have something else in that slot. There's something else taking up the slot that drive was in. I don't have one anymore. It's been years. It's crazy to think of how big and important the CD was for so many years, and then it's just gone. In my closet, I have probably 50 CDs for music and like 50 CDs for anime. Yeah, I do. I have all of Naruto somewhere. I have all Naruto in there somewhere. Those just have to be, you can't even use them anymore, probably. I have all Naruto, and there's some hentai in there, and a couple devices and other things. And so, oh, by the way, that title, if you don't know what it is, it just sounds like I'm talking about something else. I'm happy with the age I was born in. I really am. I had so much fun with it. And obviously, any age you're born in, you're going to have a lot of fun with a lot of things. But just thinking about other ages, definitely don't want older age. Younger age, really the only reason is just because relationships just seem like they're more doable in some ways than they are in my age. And it's because we're caught in that middle area, I suppose. Alright, Scarf just needs to date younger girls, apparently. This was an interesting walk down memory lane. I was thinking about just things in the past for a while, just thinking about it. And just, yeah. Guess that's what this vlog came out of because of that. Just thinking about, yeah, I feel bad for ages now who don't get to know how awesome arcades were. Arcades used to be awesome, and they weren't expensive as hell. God, there were the nickel arcades, oh my god, and the free-to-play arcades, oh my god. There was like 20 cents to still, like 20 cents, like 5 nickels. Sounds old when I say that. To play, like, when Tekken first came out, Marvel vs. Capcom first came out, when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 first came out. God, I used to be pro at fighting games. I used to go to tournaments for Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, for Street Fighter 3, the many versions of Street Fighter 3. When we didn't think there was ever going to be a Street Fighter 4, Tekken Tag Tournament, just, oh my god. Scarf has lived a life. There's a scene in the Simpsons movie with Comic Book Guy. And he's just thinking about his life, and he's like, because he feels like the impending doom is coming. And then he just goes, life well spent, while holding, like, comic book stuff. And I feel like that would probably be me on my deathbed, just got a Kirby, multiple Kirby plushies. Everyone knows what Kirby is to me, so I'm gonna have Kirby plushies all up in my deathbed. And I'm just gonna hug them and go, life well spent. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. For the most part, I've talked about this so many times. Like, I really, really want a relationship. If that's something that doesn't happen in my life, somehow, with so many decades to go, hopefully, that would be definitely a regret. Aside from that, yeah, I could totally see myself going out the comic book guy stuff. Just going like, yeah, I'm happy with where my life was. And there's plenty of downs, lots of downs, some really bad points. Obviously, the attempted suicide was one of them. But there's a lot of ups as well to my life. And because of that, I feel like overall, I'm happy with the life I've had, the life I've led. There are plenty of things I'm embarrassed about. There's plenty of things I regret. There are plenty of things I don't want to remember, but I remember. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with the age I've been in. I'm happy with what I've done, what I've accomplished, and what has happened around me, the world around me. And I look forward to the future, very much optimistically, for many reasons. I feel like things are a lot shittier in a lot of ways, but I feel like they're better in other ways as well. There's always a chance of it to get worse, where things just don't get better, but I have the hope that they will. I have the belief that it's possible. Another thing is, humor is just funnier. Like, because humor evolves as it goes. Like, it evolves in two ways. It's always going to evolve into smarter stuff and also just dumber stuff in different ways. It will always be that way. But they both are more sophisticated when you think about it. It's what used to be. Like the 1920s, 1918, there was 19-something when the slapstick was invented. When the slapstick was the original laugh track, where it was literally a stick that slapped, so that sound told you it was time to laugh. That's what that was. Humor's evolved so far when, yeah, a dude trips on a banana peel. That was the funniest freaking thing. And at this point now, dude trips on a banana peel ain't enough. It's gotta be dude trips on a banana peel, and it causes so much situations, or the context of what matters, where this guy was going through whatever thing, and then he slips on a banana peel, and that just changes everything, or just adds so much more to what was already going on with the guy. That is so interesting. It's evolved in a lot of good ways, a lot of bad ways, a lot of different maturities and everything, and I really like how just humor has become. I'm just thinking about comedy Twitter right now, where there's all these just amazing jokes that are just play on words, or puns, or plays on logic. And I love it all so much. It's just so fun. But you can also appreciate the past. Because I can still watch Who's On First and die laughing. Because that one's just such a good one. That was a really well done skit. That's just very funny. You can still watch the Marx Brothers and have a lot of fun with that too, because they just made really good comedy. Three Stooges don't hold up for me, though. That's enough talking. We're going very long. Oh my god. I could go on and 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 on, because of course I can. That's what I do. That's why I've been doing this for so many years. At the end of the day, I'm happy I live. I'm happy I'm alive. It's good. I'm just happy. I'm happy being alive, no matter how many negatives that have happened, how many negatives they will happen. At the end of the day, I'm happy I'm alive. So that right there is the vlog. I had fun talking. Hope you have fun watching and listening. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.